What is going on, good people? So I want to do a quick high-level walkthrough of an agentic AI that I've been working on. This one is going to represent a tool that you could use alongside an analyst, so alongside a SOC analyst. I have been fine-tuning this. So a couple things that this is going to do. It's going to pull live log data based on a question that I ask it. It's going to help me basically solve a problem. When it's going to look through those logs, it's going to look for any suspicious activity based on the activity, whether it finds the activity or it doesn't find the activity. What it will then do, it's going to help me make a decision. Do I want to isolate the VM or not inside of Microsoft Defender? If I choose to isolate it, it's actually going to go out and isolate it inside of Defender, so I won't have to leave and do anything. The agent will do everything. If I decide not to, what's going to happen is I actually set it up where it's going to send a message into Slack. So whether that goes to like a manager, whether that goes to a CEO, basically whoever's in that Slack channel will get a message saying either the VM was isolated or it was not isolated, and then also what action was taken. Also, they'll get a copy of what logs were pulled to justify the actions taken. But let's just kind of jump right in and get started so you guys can see what it looks like. Again, it's just a working prototype. So let's go ahead and run without debugging. Yes, we're gonna run that. All right, perfect. So while that's running, you're gonna see here in just shortly in a second, the agent's gonna come on. I actually named my agent Diesel for Shaq. I'm a big Shaq fan. So it says, I'm Diesel, here to help ease your workload. What can I do to help resolve the issue? So what we're going to do in here is we're going to say I have a VM, a virtual machine by the username of Maverick, or excuse me, by Maverick, with the username Jason Kidd. Again, basketball fan, Jason Kidd, played for the Mavericks. I believe it was compromised in the last 24 hours. So what's going to happen is we're going to have Diesel, which is our agent, go out and help us. And it's just going to take a second. It's just doing some thinking. And then what that's going to do is he's going to go start pulling logs and looking through logs. So if you'll see, and again, these are live logs pulled straight from Azure. So it went and looked in device process events in the last 24 hours. And again, this is based on what I told it to go look for. But it chose where to go look for it. It found the device, found the caller, which is Jason Kidd. And then now what it's going to do, it's asking me which option do I want to choose in terms of which version of ChatGPT do I want to use. Based on the different ones you choose, there's different prices. So this one, if I run it on the default, which is GPT-5 mini, it's going to be 2 cents. But we're going to save a few dollars, just as you'd want to do for the company. So we're going to use GPT 4.1 Nano. So it's going to cost us 0.8 cents. So we're going to change it to that. And then we'll just confirm. So it's going to go and pull and start generating the actual report now. And then once this pulls the report, so it literally took it 8 seconds to run the report. So it found 3 potential threats. So let's take a look at what those threats are. And it also linked those threats to the MITRE attack. So let's kind of just look through real quick. All right, so the first potential threat is shown right here. Multiple instances of PowerShell. So it spun up a PowerShell. Threat number 2, again, is listed here. Also, it linked it to different MITRE attacks here. And then the third incident is here. Repeated process. All right, so again, it's just running some weird commands. So it's doing some very suspicious activity. So there's 3 potential threats, and then it's basically asking me, would I like to isolate the machine? I'm going to put no this time. So let's just check no. I don't want to isolate it. All right, so the machine was not isolated, but if we take a look, if we jump over into our Slack channel, you can see the alert got sent over to Slack. Again, a VM named Maverick, status, no isolation. All the events are included in here. So any potential stakeholder or whoever needed to see this information, they would not only know that we didn't isolate the machine, but they also have the reasons why we didn't. The logs are actually in here as well, so they have access to those as well, which is pretty cool. Now what I want to do, I'm going to erase this just so there's no confusion. So I'm going to take this one out, and then we're going to run it again, but this time we're actually going to isolate the machine. So if you look here, this is the actual machine right here. You can see it's active, it's not isolated, but I want to show you kind of in real time kind of what this looks like and how fast this process can go. So let me go ahead and clear this, and then I am going to rerun this. Let's run it without debugging. Yep, launch it. So Diesel's gonna come help out. Diesel here to help ease your workload. What can I do to resolve the issue? We're just gonna run the same thing. So I have a VM by Maverick with the username Jason Kidd. I believe it was compromised in the last 24 hours. So we're gonna have it go check. So Diesel now, who's acting as our agent, is gonna go through the logs, see if he can find any information that can give us some more insight into what's happening. And then once he pulls that info, it'll then direct us to decide what version of ChatGPT we want to use. So it pulled 78 records returned. Again, these are live records. Again, I use the API key, so it's directly connected to Azure. And then I use a webhook to connect it to the Slack channel. All right. So it looks like cost is going to be 0.2 cents. So we're just going to run it with we'll just run it with the regular one. So again, it's going to start writing everything up. It's also going to start correlating it with which MITRE ATT&CK it maps to. And then once that's done, usually takes about 30 seconds, 40 seconds, somewhere around there. And then once that's done, we'll decide whether we want to isolate the VM or not inside of Microsoft Defender. This time we are going to isolate it. And then what it will do is send another message out to our Slack channel with the details on what we did and why we ended up doing it. All right, so it took 49 seconds for it to finish. It's asking me, do I want to see the results? We most certainly do. So it picked up 4 threats. Again, I'm not going to go through them, but you guys kind of get the idea. Now it's asking me, do I want to isolate it? This time we are going to isolate it. So again, what that's going to do, that should have sent a message to Slack. Message has successfully been sent to Slack. So this time VM was isolated. Again, it has the name of the VM. All the threat findings are sent over as well. So see any stakeholders, anybody that needs to see it can see that information here. And if we jump over to Defender, and when we refresh this, boom. So as you can see, now the VM has been isolated. So yeah, so that's what it is. Let me go ahead and release this. We'll release the isolation. We'll just put test on this, confirm it. So yeah, that's some updates I did. Just wanted to kind of walk you through the whole process. Hope you got some value.